Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we got an X and Y Wi-Fi battle against Joshy. He has the Manectric, Possible Mega, Dugtrio, Miltank, Porygon-Z, Drapion, and Shuckle. So, without further ado, let's get right onto it. This was a pretty interesting battle. Joshy is also a Poketuber like me, and he just decided to challenge me to a battle. So this is my very first Poketube challenge. So I'm going to lead off with my Oracle just to set up some rocks, and he's going to lead off with this Shuckle, also to set up rocks and potential sticky webs. So here, I don't know why I decided to go for Rapid Spin. I think it's because I thought Shuckle will outspeed me, because I thought he was going to go for rocks or sticky web, but unfortunately I do outspeed him. So he is going to get his layer of rocks up while I haven't done anything yet. Here he decides to withdraw, and I just decided to go straight for the Rapid Spin anyways. He sends out his Porygon-Z, probably using a potential Dark Pulse or an Ice Beam, so I get the fuck out of here and I go straight into my Miltank. My Miltank is as a special wall, and it does have thick fat, so it will eat up this Ice Beam very well. As you'll see, this Ice Beam did more than I expected, so I'm pretty sure, well, besides the crit, it still did more than I expected, so I'm assuming that it's specs, because I am especially defensive after all. So now that he knows that he can't do anything to me, he will switch out, and he goes back into his Shuckle, and here I just went for the Body Slam to get a paralysis on anything, really. Even if he did switch out, hopefully I can get a paralysis on the Shuckle. Usually Shuckles do like to run rest, but I didn't really matter. I didn't really care. I still wanted to get something on it, but as you'll see that my Body Slam does not land a paralysis. So we both get our leftovers up, and here I'm just going to go straight for the Toxic, and luckily I do land it. So that's very good. And like I said, Shuckle probably does have rest, but I don't really care. And this Shuckle also goes for a rest, but you know, I have heal bell, so it doesn't really matter too much. I get my little leftovers back, and so does he. I really like blue Shuckle. Blue Shuckle looks so amazing. I just like the color blue, honestly. So here I'm gonna get a little bit of toxic damage, and we will too. So things are a little bit on his side right now, since he does have rocks up and I don't. So he's gonna switch out his Shuckle, and he goes into his own Miltank, a blue Miltank. I really love blue, so shiny Miltank is just amazing. Oh, I do have rocks up. What am I saying? Yeah, we both have rocks up. Yeah, so here I go for the heal bell, even though I thought, you know, it didn't really matter what he'll do. If he wanted to set up sticky webs, he could have. If he wanted to switch out, he could have. I just wanted to like heal my Toxic off. So at this point I'm like, I don't really want to have another stall fest, because in my previous battle I already showed you that was pretty terrible. So I'm just gonna switch out into my Doublade, my Ragnarok, hoping to scare him out with a Sacred Sword. And I was predicting that he was gonna either go for a heal bell to heal a Shuckle, or a Body Slam. That's why I decided to switch out my Ghost and Steel type Doublade, but as you'll see, he just uses Thunder Wave. So here he finally decides to go for the heal bell, and here I'm just gonna go straight for the Sacred Sword and get some damage. I could have went for the Swords Dance, but you know, I didn't really want him to, like, how would I say it, switch out. So as figured, he does switch out into his Drapion to take a potential Sacred Sword, but as you'll see, I'm paralyzed, and I'm expecting either a knockoff or an Earthquake, most likely a knockoff, so I do switch out. But you'll see he does not use knockoff, he has something else. So here I decided to switch into my Murkrow to take any dark moves or ground moves, but he doesn't have knockoff, he has Crunch, and I'm so glad that he does not have knockoff, because if he knocked off my Eviolite, my Murkrow would have been basically completely useless. So I'm just gonna get a little bit HP back. I use Roost just to kind of scout kind of what he has, you know, because I'm like predicting a Poison Jab, and in fact he does go for the Poison Jab, and I can take it pretty well since I am Bold Nature. And here I go for the Feather Dance. That's what I like to run with this Murkrow, some Feather Dance, Calm Mind, Roost, and Dark Pulse. So he decides to stay in, surprisingly. and hoping to land a poison, and of course he does. So you know, good job on his part. You know, but you know, I could stall him all day. I'll just keep roosting and feather dancing, so it's no problem for me whatsoever. I get my rooster, my prankster rooster, and he still stays in to get a poison jab. At this point, you know, I'm not too worried. You know, my Murkrow is just chilling there. I mean, he does have more poison jab than, you know, a roost, but I can just feather dance him until he's completely useless, and for him to force him to switch out. And if he doesn't switch out, I can just start setting up Calm Minds. And you'll see that I do drop his attack, but he still stays in. And now he decides to switch out as I go for the roost. He goes into his Porygon-Z, probably to scare me with his, what's it called, Ice Beam. But even though I have priority roost, Ice Beam will not be super effective against me. But as I mentioned, my Murkrow is Bold Nature. So he doesn't really have any investment in special defense, so I do not want to take an Ice Beam, even after roosting, so I just switch back into my Miltank. And since I have my Doublade that is paralyzed, and I have my Murkrow that's poisoned, it's a good opportunity for me to heal off any statuses with Heal Bell at this point, since he is forced to withdraw, so I do get a free heal. Joshy has really good Pokemon, but as you'll see that I make some pretty great predictions here, so it was thanks to that, yeah. So here I go for the Heal Bell, cure poison and paralysis, and he goes for his Shellos, which doesn't really scare me too much, but he does have the potential Sticky Webs to set up, which could be a big problem. So, but as I mentioned, I'm just gonna go straight for the Toxic, and I think he will probably do the same as well. Yep. So we're both poisoned again. You know, it's fine by me. At least I can heal off. He's forced to use Rest. So we both get some leftovers up, and then I'm just gonna. I mean, I really don't mind if I'm poisoned or burned or even anything, as long as I'm not frozen or asleep. Miltank is fine because he can just Milk Drink and he can just Heal Bell. But I decided not to go for a Heal Bell because like I said, I only have 5. I don't have max PP Heal Bells. So actually, I want to take this opportunity to spin his rocks away, since I do have 2 flying types in this NU team, and this is an NU team except with Claydol. And he does go back into his blue cow, his fabulous nipple shaking blue cow. And it's a good switch on my part because he can't really Thunder Wave me, and his Miltank doesn't have Toxic, so I'm looking okay here while I just go straight for the Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards. So now in this battle, so far, only my rocks are up. So he is forced to withdraw, even though I don't know why. He could go for body slams and try to get line of paralysis. Shellos is looking pretty weak here, but I decided to double out into my Ragnarok, since my Ragnarok can just easily go and attack and go for an Iron Head on this Shellos. Shellos does have really massive defenses, but at this point I'm pretty sure an Iron Head will easily kill the Shellos. So he is expecting the Iron Head, so he is forced to switch out into his Drapion. I'm assuming this is like a physical wall Drapion, because Doublade does have very strong... Oh, I'm sorry, I go straight for the Swords and I'm predicting him to switch out. And I do not want to get crunched, but I am Eviolite, so I should take this like relatively well. Doublade does have massive defense. You see that? Like, I took that crunch extremely well. So I go for the Iron Head, and it nearly takes him out. He had like 5% left. I just go for the very obvious Shadow Sneak. What Joshy should have done was switch into his Porygon-Z, but I guess he didn't expect that I had Shadow Sneak. Maybe like Shadow Claw instead. So now he switches into his Porygon-2, and he will outspeed me, obviously, and I can't go for a Shadow Sneak. So I am going to switch out, expecting a Dark Pulse. I was debating if I should switch out into Miltank or Murkrow, but I mean, Miltank will take this Dark Pulse decently well. So he does hit me, and I do get hurt by toxic damage after getting some leftovers. And here, like I said, he can't do anything, so I'm pretty sure at this point he is Specs. Maybe Scarf, but I think he's Specs. And he goes back into his blue cow, and it's just like a huge battle between these two cows. So I go for my heal bell to get rid of my toxic damage. And I decide to stay in. I honestly thought, you know what, fuck it, let's just give it all. And if Miltank can't handle this blue cow, at least maybe... Oh, you know what, sorry. I actually switch out. I didn't want to fight him just yet. So I go back into Oracle, expecting a Thunder Wave or something, but he goes for the heal bell, so it's a very good play on his part. And, man, just shiny Miltank is just so beautiful. I mean, Miltank isn't like exactly the best looking or designed Pokemon, but still a really cool color. Okay, so I double out and into Ragnarok, but it was a bad, terrible double out because he's gonna go for the very obvious Dark Pulse, so I have to switch out. And he should have really predicted me to switch out and just go for anything, like a Tri-Attack. I mean, it was kind of risky for him to just go to use Tri-Attack on my Doublade, but if he had went for a Tri-Attack, my Miltank will be very close to dead. So he goes back into his blue cow, and I'm just gonna heal up. You know, drink some milk is a good opportunity because I know I could live another Dark Pulse from Porygon-Z, so he had to switch out so I could get a free milk drink. Okay, and then at this point, I wanted to stay in and fight head-to-head with him. Cow versus cow, milk versus milk, pink versus blue. Who will truly dominate over this battle of the cows? So he Thunder Waves me, and I go over Toxic, and I'm so glad I landed my Toxic again. If I did not, it would have been a very one-sided battle. But to be honest, I'd rather much prefer being paralyzed than being Toxic, because I don't really need that immediate attention to use Heal Bell, but he kind of does. But as you'll see, he does not go for the Heal Bell, he actually went for the Body Slam, which I was really surprised. And here, I had nothing else, so I just decided to go for Body Slam too. I'm very glad that Joshy did not bring a Ghost type. If he brought a Ghost type, it would be such a huge and irritating battle. So yeah, I get a lucky crit, and you'll see that he will lose poison damage, so he needs to Heal Bell very soon, but instead he went for the Milk Drink, which I was very surprised because, you know, he's being toxic, so there's really no point of healing yourself if toxic damage will just keep hurting you more and more. So I could have switched into Ragnarok, my Doublade, to maybe scare him out, but I see no point. I prefer just staying in and kind of pressure him to start using Heal Bell and Milk Drink. Things are looking okay here. I haven't paralyzed yet. I'm quite lucky in this battle. As you'll see, I don't get paralyzed again. This is my third turn not paralyzed, and I just go for another Body Slam, and it takes them to half. And then, of course, he will get poison damaged, while I'm just chilling there, you know, minding my own business. Don't really care too much about being paralyzed. I can use Heal Bell soon, but I think I only have like 2 or 3 Heal Bells. I think I have 2 Heal Bells left, so I kind of don't want to waste my Heal Bell yet. I would prefer to preserve it and use it if I really need to, or if another Pokemon gets, you know, paralyzed or poisoned. So, you know, as I said, I'm just gonna keep Body Slamming, and I'm really surprised that Joshy hasn't used Heal Bell yet, because toxic damage is doing quite a lot on him right now. So yeah, like I said, he doesn't go for Heal Bell, and he goes for his another Milk Drink, and I'm just gonna use Body Slam here. And despite that Body Slam doesn't do too much, it's enough to kind of corner him along with the toxic damage. So here Toxic does quite a hefty amount, and he goes for his milk drink yet again, just drinking his blue milk. While I'm just gonna, okay, finally I get paralyzed, which I should. If I didn't get paralyzed there, then that would have been a truly one-sided battle. And at this point, Joshy has been milk drinking so much that I'm just gaining my HP back from leftovers since he hasn't attacked me yet. So here, I knew that he was either going to switch out or go for the heal bell because of that toxic damage. So I decided to just I decided to use Toxic again. And I was really hoping that he would just use Heal Bell because I wanted to just keep pressuring into his Heal Bell, but poisoning the Porygon-Z isn't a bad play either. So I'm expecting a Tri-Attack. There's only one reason why he would send out his Porygon-Z, to use the Choice Specs Tri-Attack. But from this range, I know I can take it, and I take it okay. and I use the opportunity to use Heal Bell. And I am cured from paralysis, and since he is stuck on specs, I am free to switch out into my Doublade. Joshy should have double switched here because it's very obvious that I was going to switch into my Doublade, because I am not gonna let my my useful Miltank die yet. So his Choice Specs does not work, and he is forced to switch out unless he wants to die. And here I just went for the Sacred Sword because it hits anything, nothing really kind of resists it. And he sends in his blue cow, his Miltank, his blue Miltank, his shiny Miltank, and it just goes down into my Sacred Sword. And here he sends out his Mega Manectric. Now I know this Manectric has Flamethrower or Overheat. I was praying that it did not have Overheat. And I switch into Miltank, because if he had Overheat, it would have been a 2-hit KO to Miltank. So like I predicted, that he does have the Mega Stone and he Mega Evolves and gets the Intimidate, which kind of sucks a little. And he goes for the Flamethrower, but I am thick fat, so it doesn't do too much. And I get my leftovers up, and he goes for a Volt Switch. I really should have predicted that. I mean, I knew that he was going to use an electric move, but I wanted to stay in to see if I could take it. And I'm so glad that he did not go for Thunderbolt, he just went for Volt Switch. Because of that, I can go for my Milk Drink. But I did not know that he's going to go for Shellos. If I knew that he went for Shellos, I would have just gone straight for the Body Slam to kill the Shellos, because Shellos can get really annoying. But because they do run Resto, Chesto sets. So at this range, with leftovers on the Shellos, I'm actually not able to kill the Shellos with a Body Slam. So I'm just going to switch out because I know that Rest is coming. So I'm just going to switch into my Doublade and hopefully scare him out. Even though he will wake up with a Chesto Berry, it's okay though, because I can at least just scare him out and maybe get a few Swords Dance up. But as you'll see, that he does not have the Chesto Berry, which is very strange. Regardless, I just decided to go for the Swords Dance while he's asleep. So he is asleep for one turn, and now I'm going to go for my second Swords Dance. And now I'm at +4. And I'm just going to go straight for the Iron Hat before he wakes up. But I forgot that Shellos has Sturdy. And he does hang on to 1 HP, and I thought, like, holy shit, like, I don't know what he's gonna do, like, he's gonna do, like, Infestation or some shit, but he just went for Rocks, which I don't really mind too much since my Claydol is almost, like, full HP. I can just come out anytime and spin those away if I'd like. So here I just went for the Sacred Sword and finish off the Shellos. And he goes into his Porygon-Z, and I can't do a damn thing to his Porygon-Z, but he is nearly dead. And after this attack, poison damage will kill this Porygon-Z, so I'm just going to switch into my Miltank. and I was praying that he does not go for the tri-attack, and luckily he did not. So my Miltank lives on with this Dark Pulse very well, and this Porygon-Z will die to poison. So things are looking pretty well here. I'm slowly killing this this Porygon, and now he sends out his Mega Manectric, and I know that he's gonna go for a Thunderbolt because we already learned that last time that Volt Switch almost killed me, but not quite, and I'm predicting a Thunderbolt, so I'm gonna go into my Ground type, my Claydol, to eat up that Thunderbolt. Usually Mega Manectrics do run HP Ice, Hidden Power Ice, but according to damage calc, it'll only do like 30 damage, 30 to 40 damage, so I'm free to just Rapid Spin his Stealth Rocks, and since his Shuckle is dead, this will be the very last time that I will need to use Rapid Spin. And he goes into his Dugtrio, and I'm like, holy shit, he's gonna Sucker Punch. Maybe I should have just went for Stealth Rocks, but he went for Substitute, and I'm like, I'm so glad he went for Substitute because I just went for Ice Beam. If I had just went for Stealth Rocks to kind of predict his Sucker Punch to fail, that would have been a complete nightmare. So here, he goes for a Sludge Ball, and I'm like, what? This is a special Dugtrio. It doesn't even have Sucker Punch. And he gets the Lucky Poison again. That's very cool of him. And I go for my Ice Beam, and of course it takes out this Dugtrio. And he sends out his last Pokemon. He has his Manectric left, which will not like to get Earthquaked by this Claydol. So he sends out his Mega Manectric, drops my attack, which does affect my Earthquake. I get a little bit of rock damage, and he's forced to use Hidden Power Ice since that is the most strong attack, and I take that very well. They did like literally 30%. I go for the Earthquake, and it's not quite enough. If I did not get Intimidated, I'm sure that would have killed, but that's okay because I'm sure I can take the next Hidden Power if he does not crit me. Despite the poison damage, I will still live, even if he does not crit me. And he goes for his second Hidden Power, and I take that again really well, and I go for the Earthquake and finish off this Manectric. So that was it. I wrapped up the game. If you guys like this battle, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Joshy is another fellow YouTuber just like me, and